Hey, I am so excited. I've been talking to my family and friends for months about preparing for the coming economic collapse, and some of them are starting to wake up, and they're asking me, Mary, what do I do? How do I start to prepare? So I decided to do this video to help those people who have really not prepared at all, and I'm going to give you some of the basics. But first you need to go and write down the name of my website. It's spiritwars.net. Go to Preparing Physically and Preparing Spiritually. This is just filled with tons of information, too much to talk about here, but you could check it out after this video. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about is water. It's the most important thing. You have got to have water. And a lot of people that prep start with food, and if you're caught in an emergency situation and you don't have water, after 3 days you're dead. So stock up on water. Number one priority. I suggest that a family of 4 get 2 55-gallon drums of food-grade plastic containers. The way you would clean the water is if you were to purchase the containers from somewhere like Emergency Essentials, they sell chemicals that you put in the water. It stabilizes the water, it purifies it, and it becomes potable water indefinitely. So that's about $15. You can also use pool shock, and there's a great video on YouTube about pool shock. You can also use bleach. Be careful though, the bleach must be fresh. If it's old bleach, it's not going to have the same strength as fresh bleach. And also, by the way, cold disintegrates the bleach, and if you keep your bleach in your garage, you can really be stuck with useless bleach, so keep that in mind. The next thing is, do you have a well? If you do, buy a hand pump, because if there's no electricity, that's going to come in really handy, and it doesn't take that much to set up a hand pump. The next thing you need to think about is, do you have a body of water in your local area where you can go retrieve water? Try to find a lake, a river, a stream, some sort of water source, because you're going to run out of water, and in an emergency you're going to be asking your neighbors for water and nobody's going to give it to you. The stores will be closed, and so you'll be stuck. So try to find an area that has fairly good drinking water that you can take home and purify. The other thing that you're going to need to do is to consider rainwater. And I saw this really great YouTube. This guy takes a large tarp and some roofing nails, and he nails the tarp to the slope of his roof. Then he gathers together the tarp, puts it into a large mouth PVC pipe, which is about 10 feet long. From there it goes into a rain barrel, and you can gather about 50 gallons of water in about 15-20 minutes in a good rain. So then you would take something like a pillowcase and filter out the major debris, and then use a 1-micron filter, water filter, to filter out any other impurities, and then you go ahead and add your bleach. Okay, that's water. The second thing is food. I suggest a minimum of 6 months worth of food for your family. And don't forget, buy a little extra for your dumb friends who didn't prepare, because they will come. So what do you buy? A lot of foods that are in number 10 cans will last you for years. Beans, vegetables, fruits. The best buy date is only the date where the food will have the optimum amount of nutrition. Doesn't mean you have to throw it out after that date. Once food is canned, it should last for years and years. Now the nutrition, the value of the nutrition in the food is going to disintegrate, especially if it's kept in a fairly warm place. But if you keep it at about 50-60 degrees, keep it in your basement, it should last a long time and still maintain some of its nutritional integrity. And also, if you are in a position where that's all the food you have, at least it'll keep you from starving or being hungry. The other thing is, store what you eat and eat what you store. Rotate your food. If you've had it for a year, start eating it up. But I don't think that's going to happen, because I think things are going to get bad before the year's ends. So go ahead and buy foods that your family is familiar with. Try to buy as nutritious of foods as you can. Fruits and vegetables are essential. Yes, you can buy 1,000 pounds of rice and it's very cheap, but that is not good for your body. Your body is going to really need nutrients, especially when you're in a crisis situation. And speaking of nutrition, vitamins. Load up at least a 2-year supply of vitamins. Do not buy Centrum, Theragram, the generic Sam's or Walmart brand. This is just the absolute minimum of the FDA requirement for vitamins. Go to a health food store, spend the money, and buy really good vitamins. I know that when the time comes for you to use them, you'll be really happy that you invested the extra $5 or $10 a bottle and got some good vitamins. The next thing is living without electricity. And there's lots of issues. Oh, I can't even imagine not having my computer, but the first thing we're going to talk about is heat. Do you have a fireplace? If so, do you have firewood? You need, I'd say, at least a quart of firewood and leave it for a couple years to season. Do you need to buy a chainsaw? Well, you need chainsaw oil. If you don't have a fireplace, maybe you can think about buying a kerosene heater or even installing a free-standing fireplace. Blankets, I have about 5 blankets per person. I have wool blankets, I have down comforters, and you can really stay warm with these if you start layering blankets. You can also buy Mylar blankets and Mylar sleeping bags, and this is what the astronauts use. They keep in about 80% of your body heat, and you can get them at Emergency Essentials or any sporting goods store. They're about $3 a pack, and they are a must to put in your emergency kit in your car. Other things that you would need if you didn't have electricity is a crank radio, a crank flashlight or lantern, and a weather radio. You can get that in a crank style. I just love mine because I can either not find my batteries or they're dead. So this is just a great thing to have. And there's lots of other things that you will think of that when you're out of electricity. A cook-it stove, if you can't, if you have no stove or oven. A cook-it is a solar oven. There are all kinds of great YouTubes about, people have come up with the most ingenious ways to make like a rocket stove. That is a stove that uses very little wood, and it has a great, it puts out a lot of energy, a lot of fire. So go check out YouTube about cook-it stoves and solar ovens, and do your homework. They're relatively inexpensive, and when you are hungry and you need to make some rice and beans, you're going to be so thankful that you invested 30 minutes in watching a YouTube about solar ovens. Okay, the next thing is staples, household supplies. You are going to need, of course, toilet paper, toiletries, paper products in case you're short on water. You're not going to want to waste water on doing dishes. Other things would be things that you find are necessities for your family. Let's say for some people it might be they can't live without their chapstick or whatever it is. So keep a list of things that you use every day that you know would be really a hardship to not have. Even kitchen garbage bags. I mean, I can't imagine what I would do if I didn't have a kitchen garbage bag. That would be a mess. So these things you need to get at least a 6-month supply of, and certainly toilet paper. The last one is transportation. And make sure your car is in the best shape you can have it. I always keep my gas tank full, and I encourage you to go out and get at least 5 large gas cans, because in time of crisis, the first thing people are going to do is go fill up their tank, and we're going to run out of gasoline really quickly. So you want to have that extra gasoline on hand for an emergency. Also concerning your car, you're going to make sure that you've got plenty of fluids for your vehicle. Oil, antifreeze, transmission fluid, brake fluid, on and on. Spare tire. Do you have a spare tire for your car? Make sure you have that. If you have a flat and you don't have a spare, you may be without a vehicle just because you don't have a spare. The other thing is, if something happens and you run out of gas, you can't use your car, it breaks down, buy a bicycle. We've got bicycles for everyone in our family. We have loaded them with reflectors. I put baskets on them, so if we need to go and get some water from somewhere or go to the store or wherever and we just can't carry that amount, we can carry it on our baskets on our bike. So that's the end of part 1. Thanks for watching. Bye.